Hello everyone, this is Mike, and yeah, I know you're looking at a suitcase right now, but this is actually just a backdrop for my 2016 disc-based game collection sets of videos. So they'll be split up because for some reason I can't have my tablet won't let me record too long of a video. So in order for me to really go into detail, I gotta split these up. So we're gonna start off with my Xbox 360 game collection. This could be part one of more than one parter, but we'll see how things go. If I can do this all in one video, that would be nice, but we'll see what happens. I'm gonna try to keep these to 15 minutes each, just to be safe. Anyways, let's start with my Xbox 360 games. Ready? Lost Planet Extreme Condition. I died at the beginning, so I never bothered to play this. Next up is Transformers War for Cybertron. I played this for a little bit. I just didn't really spend a lot of time on it, but from what I've seen, it was pretty good. And so if you're a Transformers fan, this certainly beats the baby movies for sure. Alright. Next up is the arcade compilation disc. This has Pac-Man Championship, Uno, and some other games. I can't remember all of them. But I got this for just like $1 or so. Very, very cheap. This is taking too long to put away. Next up is Ghostbusters video game. This is essentially Ghostbusters 3. They got the original actors from the old films to reprise their roles. And if you're a Ghostbusters fan, this is a must-play. Definitely play this instead of watching the stupid remake. The remake does not exist to me. Next up is Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. My friend had this, so I got it, and it's just a fun game to drive around in and listen to some music. Do a USB. That's basically what I do. Okay, next up is Alan Wake, and I got about halfway through it before it got too hard, but I really was enjoying it so far. If the difficulty didn't get a little much, where I would run out of batteries and bullets, mainly batteries, I would have continued this because I was really enjoying it. Really good story, very spooky, and funny at part in times as well. So this is definitely a must play. Okay. Okay, this is taking too long. Next up is the Orange Box. This comes with Half-Life 2, Half-Life 2 Episode 1, and Half-Life 2 Episode 2. It also comes with Team Fortress 2 and Portal. The original Portal, the first Portal, which surprised a lot of people back in the day. If you're a fan of Half-Life and Portal, and if you're a fan of Valve, this is a must-own. This is definitely worth getting, but don't get it on the PS3. It was ported badly by a different party. In other words, Valve didn't port it over. Next up is the original Borderlands. I got this at Toys R Us. The humor is spot on. Gameplay is too hard for me. There are certain games that are too difficult for me to get into, and Borderlands is definitely one of those games. I have a few other games that are like that as well. But mainly the problem is, before you know it, your weapons are underpowered, and I end up my weapons not being powerful enough, so that kind of messes me up. Anyways, Borderlands 1. Next up is a game I had a lot of fun playing with. I actually had more fun playing this by myself than with other people. It's Left 4 Dead 2, and it is so much fun to just mow hordes of zombies down. It's surprisingly easy to do. There are some harder enemies in it, but overall, this is just a fun game, fun co-op experience. And so definitely pick this up, but I gotta say, the NPCs are much better than real players for some reason. But yeah, definitely a must-own. Left 4 Dead 2, from another Valve game. Next up is Call of Duty Black Ops 2. I got this because my friend had it. And he was obsessed with this game for like a year. And then new consoles came out and he stopped playing this. But yeah, it's typical Call of Duty. But if your friends are into it, you probably will enjoy playing with them. It's really the only reason I got it. It's not really my type of game, but my friend loved it, so I got myself a copy to play with him. Next up is a very underrated game, and that is Enslaved: Odyssey to the West. This game really went under the radar, and that's really unfortunate because it actually has a very intriguing story with some interesting ideas. And the gameplay is very intense, but in a satisfying way. It's not intense and overwhelming, I can't take it. It's intense in a, whoa, that's a rush kind of feel. So definitely pick this up. There's no excuse not to have it at this point. Next up is a game that a lot of people love, but I couldn't get into the gameplay because of where the jump button was. It was like LB instead of A, and that threw me off at first. Although I played Dying Light and it was RB, and for some reason I didn't have as many problems with that. But there was a lot of other things going on too. The combat being wonky, and just I didn't feel like the controls were intuitive. You know, like I just couldn't wrap my head around it. But it is a cool concept. It was much more innovative back when it came out. But yeah, a lot of people loved this game. I gave it a shot. It had a lot of interesting things going for it, interesting themes, and a good soundtrack and good atmosphere. But I don't know. Maybe I ought to give this another shot. But yeah, Mirror's Edge. I have not played the new one, so. Next up, my first series of games I'm going to show you in this collection. That is Halo 3, Halo Reach, and Halo 4. And Halo Reach had such an easy campaign up until the end. Up until you go inside the Flood. Up until that point, the campaign is super, super easy, and I was wowed by how easy it was, and I loved it. Halo Reach, I have a lot of fun with Firefight, especially where you can't die and just shoot. My fiance's kid and I, we played a lot of Reach for that reason. And Halo 4, I'll never forget. I spent the night with my friend, and we had like a Halo party, and it was a night I'll never forget. Just awesome games all around. Definitely worth picking up all three. Alright, that's another series of games, but the first one's missing because I now have it on Xbox One. I had it on 360, but when I got Gears of War 1 on Xbox One, I gave it to my fiance's kid. Gears 2 and Gears 3. Gameplay mechanics are fun. The main mechanic is fun overall. I just wish they didn't sprinkle in hard set pieces every now and then. But overall, some fun games. Okay. I got so much to put away here. I can't get them in. Anyways, next up, back to single games. Deus Ex Human Revolution. I love the conspiracies, I love the story and the atmosphere and the soundtrack. The score is absolutely phenomenal. My only gripe with it is that it forces you to... Even though it allows you to play how you want, it seems to encourage stealth and discourage going guns blazing for multiple reasons. One, going in guns blazing makes people less open to you when you're trying to talk to them. And two, you run out of bullets pretty quickly. So this game really encourages stealth. So yeah, you might be able to play how you want, but overall it's a stealth game. It's a stealth game that has other options. But still, I'm still a fan of this universe despite the gameplay being too difficult for me. The universe itself and just everything else about it, just I had to own it just for that, because it's that good. Okay. Next up is Fear. I love the atmosphere in this game, but I feel like making this an action game, combining, a first-person shooter with, more atmospheric horror just didn't gel really well. I love the atmospheric horror, but I didn't care too much for the action. This felt more like 2 games in 1, to be honest. Okay. Come on. There we go. Next up is Red Dead Redemption. And what I love about this is whenever I go online, I always meet a new friend. And I love that. It doesn't happen to me in other games, but in Red Dead Redemption it does. If you're a fan of open world games, I'm not even a fan of westerns. I don't even like westerns, but I enjoyed this game for its open world, mainly for its open world, honestly. And just the fact that you could meet people online and they'll add you. I remember I went online with this one morning, and I met this guy on there, and we hung out and played games, all types of games, all day. It was one of the best days I had, and man, that was a day I'll never forget. So yeah, definitely a must play. But you knew that already. And by the way, this is the second game in the Red Dead series. The first being Red Dead Revolver for the PS2 and original Xbox. So a lot of people think this is the first game. This is the second game. So the next Red Dead would officially be the third Red Dead game. Okay. Next up, there's a couple of games here. Battlefield Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3. I got these games to play with my friend, but unfortunately we got Bad Company 2 so late in its life that there was nobody online to play with. So that was pretty unfortunate. We did have some fun playing Battlefield 3 online. What I loved is that even if you suck in like the deathmatch modes, you can still do other tasks and avoid being last person on the leaderboard by doing things like dropping ammo or dropping med packs. So that really helped me out a lot. Next up is one of my go-to games, go-to franchise. Oblivion and Skyrim, 2 Elder Scrolls games. The Elder Scrolls games that are on 360. I especially love Skyrim. Oblivion was nice, but Skyrim really sucked me in. The problem with Oblivion is that it didn't take me long to find everything. Whereas in Skyrim, no matter how many times I play, I always find something new. I always find a new location I didn't find before. And I've had these games for years. I am looking forward to hopefully getting the remaster for Skyrim, because it looks what I saw, it looked absolutely beautiful. My go-to games are the games that I play all the time when I just want to relax. So Elder Scrolls is one of my main go-to games on console. It's one of my top. I have like 2 open world games in particular that are my favorite, and one of them is definitely the Elder Scrolls. So yes, I love these. And that is it for part 1. Stay tuned for part 2 when I cover more Xbox 360 games. See you then.